Good day, morning, afternoon, evening. I don't know what time of day it is where you're at, but I am your professor. My name is Dr. Jennifer Copeland. I know you're going to get a lot of emails from me and it's going to say Miss Copeland, but trust me, it's Dr. Copeland. Let's see. This is Anatomy and Physiology 2, and I'm going to be covering the lecture part of this little introduction, kind of get to know your class type video that I'm doing right now. A little bit about me. I have been teaching for TCC since like 2013. Most of the teaching I've done has been Anatomy and Physiology 1 or 2. I have 4 dogs, and unfortunately, working from home, sometimes you're going to hear them. Hopefully, not too much, and hopefully, it's not too distracting. But they are dogs and they do bark. So, okay, course description. This is going to be the second half of AMP. We're going to cover everything from endocrine system all the way to heredity. You can access your course goals and learning outcomes at that link, right, that I have posted right here. And then we have our required materials. And so there's been a number of questions about the required materials. The first thing I want to say is, if you took Anatomy and Physiology 1 at Northeast Campus, more than likely you're good and you're not going to have to purchase anything. But the book is A Human Anatomy and Physiology, the 11th edition. It's a Pearson book. And there are different ways that you can purchase this book. You can purchase just the code and the e-text, access to the e-text. And that's that first ISBN number that I have listed right here. At the bookstore, it's $124. You can also buy it directly through Pearson. And then we have the loose leaf version. My understanding is that the bookstore does not have very many of those, but that's if you want a physical book. And we have the ISBN for this, and that was, I believe, $158.70 at the bookstore. And then this one is not even at the bookstore right now, but that's the ISBN for the hardback. But like I said, I called the bookstore and they don't have any. So, but the important thing is that you have that access code, because your homework that you're going to do is going to be through the Pearson book, the actual textbook itself. And so you have to have access to Pearson in order to complete your homework. Now, the way that you are going to, a lot of you have been asking me things like for course ID and program ID. You don't need those numbers. All you need to do is go to the assignment here, and I'll show you where to go. Now, yours may look a little different than mine. So our material is going to be found under lecture. So click on lecture, and then just click on unit 1. And let's go to chapter 16. And then you can, and then you can see right here, mastering assignments. Click on that, and you should be prompted to log in or create a login or something like that. And once you log in, then you're in the class. You don't need that course ID number or anything like that. All right. So you need to make sure that you're logging on to Blackboard regularly. This is really, really important in order for you to be successful in this class. I'm going to take attendance on Friday, and if you want to be counted as present, what you need to do is complete an assignment or an exam or a wiki. And I'll talk about what wikis are in a minute. And lecture and lab attendance are going to be taken separately. So you're going to need to make sure that you are completing an assignment or a quiz or whatever in each one of those in order to be counted present for the week. So basically, anything you do during the first week of class, I will take attendance on Friday, and that's it. So if you didn't do anything like your group wikis do, if you don't do your group wiki, you're going to be counted as absent in lecture for the first week of class. There is a district attendance requirement, and it states that you need to make sure that you do not miss more than 15% of class meetings. If you do, and you are not completing assigned work, then you may be dropped from this class. Not necessarily. I'm not a big fan of just dropping people. So there are usually pretty extreme circumstances that that would have to be present in order for me to drop somebody from the class. And since attendance is only taken once a week, it means that you can actually be dropped if you miss more than 3 classes and don't complete assigned work. So but the thing is that in order to be counted present, you have to complete the assigned work. So that really doesn't make any sense. I need to change that in the syllabus. But so to complete the course, you need to make sure that you're enrolled in both lecture and lab on the same campus. If you drop one, then the other one's automatically going to be dropped. And you can lose financial aid and or be required to pay the financial aid back if you have excessive absences or you are dropped from the course. Pearson chapter homework. So I showed you a second ago where to go to access your homework, and it's just going to be under mastering assignments. And during the semester, you're going to have homework assigned pretty much every week, unless it's an exam week. If it's an exam week, then you're not going to have any homework assigned. And the homework is going to be due on Friday at 11:59 p.m. It's important that you start doing the homework as soon as possible. And this is because of the fact that, so many people at home using bandwidth, or just internet outages, anything like that. You need to make sure that you're kind of on top of your homework game, because typically I don't excuse homework because of technology issues. Now, there are extreme circumstances that I've come across in the past where I don't really draw a hard line on this. So just so you know. One lowest chapter homework grade is going to be dropped, and there are no makeup assignments. That is kind of a hard line I have. I don't do makeup assignments. There are group wikis, and there are, that says 6. It should say 5. My bad. I'll fix that. But there are 5 group wikis, and you're going to be assigned to different groups for each of these wikis. Sorry, my dog's making noise. So each time you're going to be assigned to a different group. And what you need to do is it's going to be 5 questions, and you need to work with your group to answer all 5 questions. You're going to be graded as a group. You're not graded individually. Now, when you go to complete these wikis, I ask that each one of you use a different color. And if your fellow group mate, say, answers question 1, and you disagree with the answer, and you cannot get a hold of them or communicate this with them, all you need to do is go in behind them, or underneath them rather, and just put your answer, the one that you believe is correct. I will take the correct answer. So just so long as the correct answer is up there, you guys are good. Now, and this has happened, and I'm sure it's going to happen again, if you end up in a group, and let's say it's a group of 5 people, and let's say that only 2 of you are actually doing any of the work, I'm not going to penalize you guys if you only answer, say, 3 or 4 of the questions. Okay, if there's only 2 of you or 1 of you, one time I actually had it to where it was 1 student, and the student felt obligated to answer all 5 questions on his own, and that is not necessary. And the only reason that happens whenever students are still registered for the class, but they intend to drop the class, so they're no longer doing work. And I will try to go behind the scenes and make sure that that doesn't happen, but sometimes it does still happen. So just be aware, if you end up and you're the only person in the group, you are not obligated to answer all 5 questions. Answer like 2 of them, and you're good. Wikis. Yes, let's go to wikis. So you'll find the wikis down here. So this is Group Wiki 1. I can't click on it because I'm not in a group, and so it's just going to tell me I don't have access. But just click on that, and it should take you to a page, and you should see 5 questions. And you will need to edit the don't create a discussion board to answer the questions. Just make sure you edit it, and then you can go in and you can just write underneath my question, just directly underneath my question. If you have any questions on that, let me know, and I can create a separate video showing you guys how to do that. But I didn't set that up ahead of time because I completely forgot, to be honest with you. All right, so we have a presentation towards the end of the semester. You can work either individually or with a group of no more than 3. So don't make a group of like 8 people, but a group of 2. I would prefer 2. I really would prefer not 3, but 2 would be fine. Presentation needs to be, this is 10 to 15 minutes. I may change my mind somewhere along the semester, and right now I'm even thinking more along the lines of 8 to 12 minutes. I had some people last semester that had a hard time getting to 10 minutes, and I had other people that had no problem getting to 20 minutes. So it really just kind of depends on the topic you choose and the direction you choose to take it. But it can be submitted through Blackboard, or you can present it live for extra credit. I'll set up like 5 different times throughout the week, everything starting from, if somebody needs 6 in the morning, we could start at 6 in the morning, and then I'll do it all the way up to like 7 or 8 o'clock at night for those of you who have different hours and stuff like that. And we'll be flexible here. Each student or group will need to create an informational pamphlet on their disorders. So basically like the pamphlet you get at a doctor's office, and I'm going to provide examples for that, so don't worry. Now, you find the presentation information under lecture, and then disorder project due Monday, May 3rd. And then you can open this up, and we have the example pamphlet and then a rubric, and I'm going to modify that, so don't look at that quite yet because I do need to change that. But your disorder project is actually not due until the end of the semester, and I will open up the sign up for the diseases, or disorders rather I should say, probably maybe a couple weeks into class. I don't want you guys, I kind of want you to have a little bit of background on some of this stuff before we get into it. Some people may not want to choose their disorder until later in the semester, but it's kind of a one student, one disorder type situation, which just means that I can't have 5 people doing type 1 diabetes. Okay. And lots of people want to do diabetes. And anemia. Those are 2 things that a lot of people want to do their project on. So exams. So exams are going to open at 1 a.m. and close at 11:59 p.m. You need to have Google Chrome in order to take your exam. And Proctorio is going to have to be installed on your computer. We find Proctorio. So there's no exams listed yet, so don't worry about that because your first exam is in a few weeks. But so click on this. It says Secure Exam Proctor, and it's going to add it to your browser, and you'll see it. Believe you may see it up the top right, but you will need to have Proctorio installed in order to do any of your exams and your quizzes in lab, as well as your exams in lab. You will need to have a webcam. That's required, and you're going to need to be in view of the webcam for the duration of the exam. So make sure that you don't start taking the exam and then do something like this with the webcam. That's not allowed. You need to make sure that you're in the view of the webcam for the duration of the exam. Do not use any notes. Do not use your phone or any other resources, including another person, during the exam. And do your best to make sure that you're alone in the exam. Definitely, you can't have anybody in the room telling you the answers. But if you can, and I know some of you may be in situations where getting alone in a room is kind of difficult, but if you could just kind of minimize I don't know, if you've got little kids, they may come running in the room, and I'm not really worried about a 3-year-old given you the answers, but just, try to keep that to a minimum. We have extra credit. It's offered occasionally throughout the semester. Well, it's not really occasionally. It's pretty much for every chapter. Every chapter has extra credit. And it's really important that you do the extra credit for one, the actual extra credit part, and for two, I take the questions, the extra credit questions, and those end up being your short answer and essay questions on your exam. So even there's like either 10 or 15 questions per chapter. It just depends. You're going to come across it as we progress through the semester. But so one or two of those 10 questions will end up being on your exam. So make sure that you're doing the extra credit and that you're studying it. All right, let's see. Email. This is the best way to contact me through the semester. Throughout the semester. And when you email me, if you could give me if you could just give me your section number and just tell me in the email if you're emailing me about lecture or lab. This is allowed 2 business days for a response. It may be 5 minutes, it may be a couple of hours, and it may be a day or so. If it's over the weekend, sometimes I usually check my email over the weekend, usually. There are circumstances that arise where I, for whatever reason, don't have access to it, and so I don't. But I'll get back to you on Monday. Let's see. We have chapter homework. There's 13. Well, technically, there's 14 of them, but again, I dropped the lowest, and that's going to be worth 100 points. Your group wikis, there's 5 of them, 5 points apiece. That's going to be 25 points. Presentations were 75 points. The exams are worth 100 points each. And there are, I don't know if I said this. If I didn't say this, I need to say it now. So there are 5 exams. 4 normal exams and the final. And what I do is I drop the lowest one. The final exam is cumulative in this class, but it is also optional. And what you can do is if you perform poorly or not as you expected, let's say you really want an A in this class and you get an A on the first test and a C on the second test and then an A on the third test and an A on the fourth test, and that C is kind of like dropping your grade down to a B in class. You can just take the final exam, and that final exam will that C will then be dropped, assuming the final exam grade is higher than the C. I hope that made sense. If any of this doesn't make sense, please let me know because I will clarify it, make a new video, whatever I need to do. Always come to me with questions or issues. Don't just let something just slide by or I've had students who've had COVID and, don't tell me until they're really, 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 really sick and everything is now piling up. So just let me know what's going on and I'm going to work with you. Okay. This is kind of I know we keep saying these are unprecedented times. I don't exactly know how long we're going to say that, but they are. So, I want to work with you on stuff like that. Okay, let's see. Lecture is worth 70% of your total grade. Lab is worth 30% of your grade. And we have the grading scale. One of my dogs looks like she's about to bark, so I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I do round. So an 89.5 and above is an A, and then you can see this just goes down. So I do round up. Student accessibility resources. If you have a disability, please let me know. I need the information from the Student Accessibility Resource Office in order to make accommodations for you. Scholastic dishonesty. So information about that can be found here. I do not like scholastic dishonesty at all, nor do many of the other hardworking students in your class. So please do not do that. Enough said. All right, we have our schedule. You can see I just tell you the week number, the topic, and then what the assignment is. So for this first week, all you need to do is your group wiki, and make sure you do it again, because doing your group wiki is what tells me that you were present in class, and so that's how I'm going to know to mark you as present, that you do your group wiki. Next week, we're going to have chapter 16, 17, and 18 homework due. I know it is 3 homework assignments, but what I do is I used to have chapter 16 homework due on week 1, but I give you this extra week to do chapter 16 in case you're having trouble signing on to Pearson, or it's a financial aid issue or something like that. I want to give you guys a little bit of extra time in the beginning just to kind of get things rolling. So that's why you have 3 things due. That's the only time you're going to have 3 things due in 1 week. Other than that, it's just going to be 2 things, or 1. You can see exam 1 covers chapter 16 through 19. It is February 11th. Exams are on Thursdays, so just keep that in mind. Let's see. I believe that's it. Oh, yes, I am. So I am a mandated reporter. So I'm a responsible employee when it comes to reporting sexual misconduct. This is required by law. I have to report sexual harassment, sexual assault, dating and domestic violence, stalking against a student or employee to the Title IX coordinator. TCCD does care about the safety of the employees and students, and has created this requirement because of interpersonal violence. Because interpersonal violence in all forms is unacceptable, and we're committed to holding perpetrators accountable and keeping reported parties safe. And then your privacy is going to be of the utmost importance, and it is going to be really important for us to try to protect your privacy to whatever extent as possible, while complying with all federal, state, and local laws, as well as TCCD policy. And then there's this confidential reporting option. If you can read through this. If you want it kept confidential, then you need to speak with an on-campus counselor or off-campus rape crisis resources. And there are campus counselors available to help you free of charge. So let's look at the course real fast. So again, yours is going to be set up a little bit differently than mine, but you should have announcements, and I'm going to post announcements. Ooh, lots of them. I like writing announcements. I may post little video announcements. You're going to have an array of announcements, okay? Please make sure you read them. They're all important. We have our syllabus. I'm going to have to update that to take that group wiki thing to say 5 group wikis, and then lecture, and that's what we're talking about right now. So you can see we have our units, unit, our lecture exams, and then underneath that we have extra credit submission. Like I said, every chapter is going to have extra credit. And then your group project, or your disorder project, that can be a group project if you would like. So we have, clicking on unit 1, you're going to click on the chapter, open that up. Again, yours is going to look different than mine, but you're going to have a to-do list, and that's going to tell you when everything is due. Then we're going to go next, and we have the Pearson e-text. You can click on that to access your textbook. You can click on this to access your homework. And then we have our videos. Some of these I like, some of them I don't. Some of them I'm going to be redoing, but they are all posted up here. Underneath the videos, we have just the PowerPoint if you do not want to hear me talking anymore, and I understand if that's the point, or if that's the case. Then we have an exam review, and my exams come from the exam review. They are a little lengthy for chapters 16, 17, 18, and 19. I'm going to try to cut them down a little bit in the next couple of days. And but anyway, I do take my exams from the exam review. If it's on the exam review, it's fair game. That's just, If it's not on the exam review, then it shouldn't be on the exam. That's just kind of how I work. And then you have your group wiki here. All right. I cannot stress enough. Again, if you have any questions or issues, please come to me. We can set up a Blackboard Collaborate. I will call you on the phone if you do not want to do a Blackboard Collaborate. Whatever. I am here to help you guys out. I'm really looking forward to this semester, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you guys. The only other thing I need to say before I go is that lab will be held. I'll do a little live lab session, and I'm gonna have a separate video for lab, but there's going to be a little live lab session from 9 to 9:45 on Mondays. If you cannot attend, it's not a big deal. I will record it and it will be posted for you to access if you'd like. That's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful semester.